What is going on? Everybody, welcome back to the channel, and if you are a Dallas Cowboys fan, you are going to want to sit down for this one, because what I am about to tell you is going to absolutely blow your mind. And I am not exaggerating when I say that this might be one of the biggest stories to come out of Dallas in the last decade, and I know we say that a lot on this channel, but trust me when I tell you that this time it is completely different and the entire NFL world is buzzing about what just happened. So if you have not already, make sure you smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell, because we are dropping Cowboys content every single day, and you do not want to miss any of it, especially right now when things are moving this fast. So let us get right into it. Because Jerry Jones, the owner and general manager of the Dallas Cowboys, just made an announcement that nobody, and I mean absolutely nobody, saw coming, and it has sent shockwaves through the entire football community, from the fans to the analysts to the players themselves. Everybody is trying to process what just happened. And I have to be honest with you, when I first saw this news break, I had to read it 3 times because I could not believe what I was seeing, and then I checked multiple sources and confirmed it, and my jaw literally dropped. Because this is the kind of news that changes the entire direction of a franchise. And we all know that the Dallas Cowboys are not just any franchise, they are America's team. They are the most valuable sports franchise in the entire world. And when something this significant happens in Dallas, it reverberates across the entire sports landscape. So let me break down exactly what happened and what it means for the future of the Cowboys. So, here is what went down. Jerry Jones held a press conference, and during that press conference, he confirmed that there is going to be an unexpected departure from the Dallas Cowboys organization. And this departure is something that caught everyone off guard, because there were no leaks, there were no rumors, there was nothing on social media hinting at this. And in today's world where everything gets leaked before it officially happens, the fact that this came out of nowhere tells you just how tightly this was kept under wraps. And when Jerry stood at that podium, you could see it in his face that this was not easy for him to talk about. And for a man who has been in the spotlight for over 3 decades, running this franchise, and who has never been shy about speaking his mind, the emotion that he showed during this announcement told you everything you needed to know about how significant this departure really is. And the reporters in the room were stunned. You could hear the gasps and the murmurs, and the phones immediately started buzzing as people tried to be the first to break the news on social media. And within minutes, it was trending everywhere, on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook, on every sports news outlet in the country. And the reactions from fans were immediate and intense. Some people were angry, some people were sad, some people were confused, and some people actually thought it might be a good thing for the franchise. But regardless of where you stand on this, the one thing that everyone can agree on is that nobody expected this to happen right now. Now let me give you some context about why this departure is so significant and why it matters so much for the Dallas Cowboys going forward. Because when you look at the history of this organization under Jerry Jones, there have been a lot of changes, a lot of coaching changes, a lot of roster changes, a lot of front office changes. But this one hits different, and the reason it hits different is because this involves someone who has been absolutely integral to the Cowboys operation, and whose presence has been a stabilizing force during what has been a turbulent period for the franchise. And when you lose someone like that, it creates a void that is not easy to fill, and Jerry Jones knows that, which is why he looked so emotional during the press conference, because he understands that this departure is going to have real consequences for the team moving forward. And the timing of this could not be worse, because the Cowboys are at a critical juncture right now. They are trying to build a roster that can compete for a Super Bowl. They are trying to figure out their salary cap situation. They are dealing with contract negotiations with key players. And now, on top of all of that, they have to deal with this unexpected departure and find a way to replace someone who many people considered irreplaceable. And let me tell you, the fan reaction has been absolutely wild, because Cowboys Nation is one of the most passionate fan bases in all of professional sports. And when something like this happens, the emotions run high. And I have been reading through the comments on social media, and the reactions are all over the place. Some fans are saying that this is the beginning of the end for the Cowboys, and that Jerry Jones is destroying the franchise from the inside out. And other fans are saying that maybe this is actually a blessing in disguise, and that change is sometimes necessary for growth and progress. And then you have the fans who are just heartbroken because they had a personal connection to the person who is departing, and they feel like a piece of the Cowboys' identity is leaving with them. And I completely understand all of these reactions, because when you invest your time and your energy and your emotions into a team, and then something unexpected like this happens, it can feel like a punch to the gut. And I want you to know that whatever you are feeling right now as a Cowboys fan is completely valid. Now, let me talk about what some of the insiders and analysts are saying about this, because the reaction from the media has been just as intense as the reaction from the fans. And several prominent NFL analysts have come out and said that this departure could fundamentally change the trajectory of the Dallas Cowboys. And that is not hyperbole, because when you look at the ripple effects of this decision, it touches every aspect of the organization, from the coaching staff, to the front office, to the locker room, to the scouting department. And one of the things that several analysts have pointed out is that this departure could affect the Cowboys' ability to attract top talent, both in free agency and in the draft. Because when you have instability within your organization, it sends a signal to potential players and coaches that maybe this is not the right place for them. And in a league where stability and continuity are so important, that kind of perception can be devastating, and Jerry Jones has to be aware of this, which makes you wonder why he allowed this departure to happen in the first place. And there are several theories floating around about what led to this decision, and I am going to go through some of them with you right now. The first theory is that there were behind-the-scenes disagreements about the direction of the franchise, and that these disagreements had been building for a while and finally reached a breaking point. And if you know anything about Jerry Jones, you know that he is a man who wants things done his way, and he has been criticized throughout his career for being too controlling and for not allowing the people around him to do their jobs effectively. And if that is what happened here, then it would not be the first time that Jerry's management style has led to the departure of a key figure in the organization. And we have seen this pattern before, with coaches and executives who have clashed with Jerry over personnel decisions and game planning and roster construction, and every time it happens, the Cowboys end up taking a step back before they can move forward again. And the question is whether this time will be any different. The second theory is that this departure was actually a mutual decision, and that the person who is leaving simply felt like it was time for a change, and that they wanted to pursue other opportunities. And if that is the case, then it is a lot less dramatic than the first theory, but it is still significant because it means that the Cowboys are losing someone who chose to leave. And when someone chooses to leave, it usually means that they did not see a path to success within the organization. And that should be concerning for Cowboys fans, because if the people who are on the inside do not believe that this team is heading in the right direction, then why should the fans believe it? The third theory, and this is the one that has been getting the most traction on social media, is that this departure is part of a larger restructuring that Jerry Jones is planning for the organization, and that there are going to be more changes coming in the weeks and months ahead. And if that is true, then this could be the first domino to fall in what could be a complete overhaul of the Cowboys' front office and coaching staff. And that is both exciting and terrifying for fans, because on one hand, a fresh start might be exactly what this franchise needs to finally get over the hump and compete for a championship. But on the other hand, change brings uncertainty, and uncertainty brings anxiety, and no fan wants to go through a rebuilding period, especially when you feel like your team is close to being a contender. And speaking of being a contender, let me talk about how this departure affects the Cowboys' chances of winning a Super Bowl. Because at the end of the day, that is what it all comes down to. And the Dallas Cowboys have not won a Super Bowl since the 1995 season, and that drought is one of the longest and most painful in the history of the franchise. And every year, Cowboys fans go into the season with hope and optimism, and every year they end up disappointed. And now, with this unexpected departure, that drought could potentially get even longer. Because losing a key figure in your organization at this point in the offseason puts you behind the eight ball, and you are now scrambling to fill a void that should not have existed in the first place. And that is frustrating for fans who have been waiting patiently for this team to get back to the promised land. Now, I also want to address something that Jerry Jones said during the press conference that I think is really important, and that a lot of people might have missed because it was kind of buried underneath all of the other news. And what he said was that he is committed to making the Dallas Cowboys a championship-caliber team, and that he will do whatever it takes to make that happen. And now we have heard Jerry say things like that before, and sometimes it feels like empty promises, but the way he said it this time felt different, and there was a conviction in his voice that I have not heard in a long time. And maybe that is just wishful thinking on my part, but I genuinely believe that Jerry understands that the clock is ticking and that the window of opportunity for this team is not going to stay open forever. And if this departure is part of a larger plan to retool and reload and come back stronger, then maybe this could end up being a positive thing for the franchise in the long run. Now, before I wrap this up, I want to talk about what comes next, because that is really the most important thing right now, and the Cowboys are going to have to move quickly to address this situation and find the right person or people to step in and fill the void. And that is not going to be easy, because as I said earlier, the person who is departing was integral to the operation, and replacing that kind of talent and experience and institutional knowledge is one of the hardest things to do in professional sports. And the Cowboys are going to have to be strategic and thoughtful about how they approach this. And they cannot afford to rush the process, because making the wrong hire or the wrong decision could set the franchise back even further. And that is something that Cowboys fans simply cannot afford at this point. And I also want to point out that this departure could have implications beyond just the Cowboys, because the NFL is a league of copycats, and when something significant happens with one franchise, it often has a ripple effect across the entire league, and other teams are going to be watching closely to see how the Cowboys handle this situation and whether they can turn this adversity into an opportunity. And if the Cowboys are able to successfully navigate this transition and come out stronger on the other side, it could serve as a blueprint for other teams that find themselves in similar situations in the future. So, to sum it all up, this is a massive story for the Dallas Cowboys and for the NFL as a whole, and Jerry Jones dropping this bombshell has sent shockwaves through the entire football world. And the reactions from fans and analysts and players have been intense and emotional, and the implications of this departure are going to be felt for a long time to come. And the only thing we can do right now is wait and see how it all plays out, and hope that the Cowboys are able to recover from this and continue to move forward in their pursuit of a Super Bowl championship, because at the end of the day, that is what every Cowboys fan wants more than anything, and we deserve it after waiting this long. So make sure you guys smash that like button if you enjoyed this video, and subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and hit that notification bell so you never miss any of our Cowboys coverage, because we are going to be staying on top of this story and bringing you all the latest updates and analysis as more information becomes available. And I want to thank you all for watching and for being a part of this community, because without you guys, none of this would be possible, and I will see you in the next video. Until then, stay safe, stay passionate, and as always, go Cowboys!